am your host, Sarcophagus, yes, and welcome to the Cinematary, a place where bad films get a second chance to die. But what are you doing here, you ask? Well, you see, the thing about it is, I've been in this place for over 100 years, as curator of bad films the world over. But it came to my attention as I was dusting off the cobwebs from a few of the crypts that not all of our patrons deserve the second death. No. And that got me thinking. You see, I am but a humble executioner. I am not judge or jury. But perhaps you would be. So I stole the video camera from one of the local ghost hunters in the area. Come to think of it, I don't know if he made it out all right. Maybe he was eaten by one of the locals. Well, I digest and digress. It is up to you to decide these films' fate. Do they deserve the second death? To be forgotten in the annals of time forever? Or should they be elevated to the status of cult classics for the world to see again and again and again? That is what we plan on doing here. So consider this sort of a pilot episode. Just something to ease into and see if we really like what we see. Now, I know what you're thinking. What the devil sort of films does our infamous host have in store for us? Well, the answer's quite simple. Follow me. Welcome to the crypt. Yes. This is actually where I first found our features. Gave me the whole idea to do this whole spiel, in fact. Yes. A little heavy on the shadows, but otherwise, it's exactly what we need. Now, must be proper. No, spider! Just small child voice, always terrifying. Alright, let's see what we have. Alright, we have a mess. We have nothing. We have This is not what I thought it was. This is actually an old Republic cereal from the 1940s. This is in fact, I'm a man of dignity. I'm a man of grace. I am a knight. That's why they call me Sir Darling. What was I saying? This is actually a Republic cereal from the 1940s. Actually, you know what? You might actually appreciate this. Sort of a preamble to the main event, as it were. But first, now, we must find them. Aha! How did this get here? Where we go? My heart! My heart! You bloody ghost! Will you be quiet?
Sorry.
I'm trying to put on a performance. I swear. Ghosts. You can't live with them. You can't bloody well kill them either. But, as I was saying, yes, no, this is actually one of the very first B movies ever made. 1932 to be exact. The feature in mind is known as The Monster Walks. Let's watch it together, shall we? To the project! To the projector screen!
It is easier to die. Your blood will turn white. Your face will turn green. Your eyeballs will pop with pressure. Because our doomsday shoots the living again. Hoard your strength. Take a shot. You're gonna need an awful lot. When you see our shocker pictures, so terrifying.
Well, no, that's precisely what I was saying. I mean, honestly, the whole point... Oh, dear God, they're still here. Hi. Hello. Yes, hello. How are you? I'll be honest. I didn't think you'd make it through the opening credits. Mr. DeMille! They're still here! Roll it!
I found a line. We'll go up the trail a little farther and cut into the jungle.
Yes, Buona Lady. On come go balala.
There's a big animal in there, maybe the lion. Set up the camera here, quick.
lady. Buona lady. Buona lady.
Come back!
A gun bearer must never leave his Buona, you know that.
Me know, Chief Tonka, but me not run from lion or elephant, but this is not animal, like something me never see. Maybe spirit devil.
Tembo, it wasn't a spirit.
Maybe there's others. Me not want to go in jungle again.
If you want them to go with you, Buona Evans, I'll give the order.
Well, I hate to force them to, Chief. That monster was a horrible-looking thing, and I don't blame them for being afraid with only one rifle to protect them. But I can't give up till I get the pictures I need. If there are any more of these beasts around, I want to find out about them. I think I'll ask Larry Sanders to help me.
Good. Buona Sanders, big hunter. He come with us, me go.
I'll send for him right away. Can one of your men take a message to town for me?
Of course.
Thank you. I'll have him take my film in at the same time to be developed.
Nagato.
All right, tell her I'll be out day after tomorrow.
Another hunting expedition, Sanders?
Hey, you might call it that, Stanley. Only this time I won't be guiding a regular safari. A friend of mine, a girl named Jean Evans, wants me to help her hunt down some weird sort of monster.
Sounds interesting. Where is she?
Utanga district.
Utanga? I didn't think Chief Danka liked to have white hunters in his district.
Well, Jean isn't exactly hunting, you see. She's shooting motion pictures of wildlife for the International Foundation. Anyway, she has a pretty good in with the Utanga tribe.
Well, she must have if old Danka... Say, is she the one they call the Panther Girl?
Yeah, that's right. She earned the name and reputation about a year ago. She was trying to get some Utanga natives together for a picture safari. They wouldn't help. It seems about the time Jean arrived in their village, a Black Panther started raiding it. Well, the natives blamed the raids on Jean's evil spirit.
Which proves that a few years in a mission school just can't root out the superstitions of centuries.
Yeah, it sure does. Old Chief Danka may speak pretty good English, but when you get right down to it, he still believes in voodoo and black magic and all that sort of thing. Anyway, Jean was in a pretty rough spot. Until one night, a native visitor from the city here decided to go out after dark. It was foolish, but he did it. He was bound and determined to cut some bamboo.
It's Colango!
Is he in the canyon?
Yes, he is, but you can't go there. It's the Killer Panther.
Yes, Black Panther, black magic.
Well, now's a good chance to get rid of him.
After that, Jean brought the native back to the village and he recovered. The Utangas gave her the Panther Girl name and pitched in to help her get her pictures.
She sounds like a girl who could take care of herself.
She is. That's what makes me think this must be something special. I'm really anxious to find out just what kind of an animal it is that makes Gene Evans call for help. Wait a minute, have a check, please.
Here's another one for you to work on.
You're sure the first one is dead?
Yeah, one of our natives found pieces of claw on the trail.
So we'll draw another one.
With what you know about chemistry, Morgan, you could write your own ticket in any country in the world, even if they did run you out of the States.
Perhaps, but chemists are not generally too well paid for research. And if I tried to sell my services to the kind of people who would really pay big money, I'd get in trouble with the authorities again. Besides, this diamond mine project of ours should bring us in all the money we'll ever need.
Yeah, if and when we get the stuff mined and out of the country. You know, this government's pretty tough on people who went after diamonds on their own hook.
Of course, but the authorities have no idea there are diamonds in this district. And there'll be no one around to bother us once we scare the natives out of the country. After our new specimen here has consumed these hormones, he'll be big and fierce enough to do the job.
All right. We'll start them growing. Then we'll go back to the mine and get out some more gravel.
You'd better go to the Utanga village first. See if the natives are beginning to panic yet.
Chief Danker don't like us hanging around there.
I know, but as long as you convince them you're not hunting in his territory, he won't bother you. Here.
Let's head for the village. Buona lady go riverbank. Take pictures of alligator. Say, when you come, you stay there.
All right, Timbo.
Thank you.
Looks like we got visitors.
Might be some hunter driving through. You're still in the Jeep.
Well, we better find out. It's bad enough having that girl hanging around. We don't want anybody else here.
Come in. Oh, hello. My name's Larry Sanders.
Staying here long?
Yeah, maybe. What?
Because we don't want strangers hanging around here, and neither do the natives.
Well, I wouldn't worry too much about the natives. I get along pretty well with them.
Well, they won't get along with us. We're working on a deal to get the natives to let us hunt in this territory. We don't want anybody butting in.
Now, just a minute. I happen to be here at the invitation of Miss Evans. I intend to stay whether you like it or not.
Think so?
I know so.
Well, we're gonna make it so rough on you, you'll be glad to get out in one piece.
Huh? Just when is this lesson supposed to start?
Right now.
these two characters want to run me out of the district. You know them?
They've been around here before. They say their names are Cass and Rand. They're supposedly looking for hunting territory.
That's right. We want a hunting territory of our own. What's wrong with that?
I told you before, my people will never allow you to hunt in the Utanga.
Well, we thought you might change your mind.
I can promise you I won't.
Now, you heard Chief Danker. He says no hunting, that's exactly what he means. You might as well be on your way right now.
Thank you, Chief Danker.
Don't mention it. Bessie.
Well, that was a fine way to welcome you to the village.
It's all right, Gene. It wasn't really your fault. It was a surprise, though, to find men like that in the Utanga district. Any more of them around?
No. The only other white man is a Dr. Morgan. He lives by himself in a bungalow over in the Ratturi Tribes district.
What's he doing there?
Conducting some kind of chemical experiments. I paid him a visit once, but he was too absorbed in his work to be very friendly.
Sounds like quite a character. Let's not worry about him, though. What's all this story about some kind of a jungle monster?
Larry, this is fantastic. It's unbelievable. I think I got some good film of it, though. I sent it to town to be developed. You can see for yourself when I get it back. Of course, between now and then, we may hunt down another one of them.
Well, that's fine, but you still haven't told me what the thing looks like.
Well, it sounds ridiculous, but it looks like a huge, overgrown crawfish.
A crawfish?
Yes, a crawfish.
You mean like a little lobster? Oh, gee.
You'll see.
He's sure big enough.
Yeah.
Well, your bug is growing up. But do you want to turn him loose with Sanders around?
Yes, it may work to our advantage. If a Utanga or two were killed by the devil beast, in spite of the protection of Sanders and Miss Evans, the tribe would be sure to panic.
I see what you mean. They might even take their scare out on Sanders and the Panther Girl.
Exactly. Now get some of your Ratturi natives to carry the crate close to the Utanga village and then dump them out.
You think we can still count on those Ratturis?
Certainly. As long as you keep giving them my special tonic, they'll do anything you tell them to.
Yeah, but they keep wanting more all the time.
Naturally, the compound is habit-forming. The user requires increased doses, but I have plenty of it on hand.
Well, we won't be carrying that crate anywhere.
We must get that creature closer to the Utanga village. Have some of the Ratturis drive it in that direction.
Okay.
Also tell them to stop anyone from shooting him. Give them enough of that tonic and they won't mind attacking white men if they have to.
Right. You savvy? No, let white man kill devil beast.
We fix.
All right, get going.
Ungo! Kaya! Ungo, Kaya! Ungo! Ungo, Kaya! Buona! 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 Devil spirit, come this way.
It's all right, Timber. We'll take care of it. You and the other boys go back to the village.
Yes, Buona.
We must have hit it.
Yeah, but we sure didn't stop it. Tell you what, Gene, you follow it from here, slowly. I'll circle around and try to get in front of it.
Right.
Obviously, the claw monsters are just crawfish that are placed onto miniature environments, courtesy of the Live-Decker brothers. That's Howard and Theodore, for those not in the know. Now, of course, it's actually executed better in this film than it is Teenagers from Outer Space, which, for the record, wouldn't come out for another 4 years after. William! Why, every time I do these, you decide to get vocal? One of these days, I'm going to have a monster skin run right here. Wait. Oh, yes, right. But yes, it's actually better executed in this film than it is in Teenagers from Outer Space, which occurs another 4 years from now. And if you want to know what I'm referencing, I should warn you. It's dreadful. But I can tell you're curious, so... Don't say I didn't warn you. Dreadful, I know! Just a superimposed little crawfish going booga booga. Oh! Now, Jean Evans, the Panther Girl of the serial title, is actually played by Lois Lane actress. And from the Superman versus the Mole People fame. And our mad scientist is played by Arthur Spakes. As in... that way. And if he seems familiar to a few of you, that's because he is actually best known in the role of the veterinarian in the Lassie TV show. So, there you are. He's working on animals in this one too, apparently. Well, if you'd like to hear more fun little bits of trivia about our cereal, then let us know. Because for God's sakes, remember this is a pilot. I have no idea if you people even like what I'm doing. And the only way I'll know as if you let me know. So do us all a favour and be vocal with your opinions. Down there, down in the, with the liking and the sharing and the whatever else it is you youth do with your videos. Back in my day, you just hit rewind. Well, now on to the main event. The monster walks. Oh, actually, no, one other slight addendum. I misquoted one bit of trivia. I claimed it was actually from the 1940s. The serial was from the 1940s, Panther Girl of the Congo. I thought that it was from the 1940s, and it's not. That's actually Jungle, that's actually a previous Republic Pictures serial. This was actually done in the 50s, but it uses enough stock footage, I kind of got them mixed up. So that's on me. I apologize. So, yes, but enough about that. On to the show!
His death was very sudden, Mrs. Krug.
Yes, sir. He was alive last night when I brought him his supper. This morning, Hans found his body.
Your son?
Yes, sir. It's Yogi, Mr. Earleton's aide.
But I thought he had disposed of him.
No, sir.
Do you mean to say that that animal is in this house?
Yes, sir. Mr. Robert had Hans lock him in his cage in the cellar.
Everything secure, Hans?
The cage is strong enough. I put a chain across the door.
But what makes him scream so?
That's because of the corpse in the house. He remembers his dead master.
You have my deepest sympathy, Robert.
Thanks, Mr. Wilkes.
It seems unbelievable that it could have happened so quickly. Why, only last week when he was in the city, he seemed perfectly well.
My brother always enjoyed good health, Mr. Wilkes. I was the sickly one, and now a paralytic.
But Could medical science do nothing for you?
No, nothing can ever bring power to these lifeless limbs. Don't be alarmed, Mr. Wilkes. He is securely locked in his cage. Would you care to see him?
Why, yes, if it is not too much trouble.
Hans, take Mr. Wilkes down to see Yogi.
Yes, sir. There was a mate to this one, but it died in one of Dr. Earlson's experiments.
What was the nature of that experiment?
I don't know. But he was the doctor's favorite. Yogi had the run of the house. He knew every nook and corner.
But was there no danger?
Miss Ruth was afraid of him. But that's because he was always jealous of her.
So that is why she went away.
I suppose she had other reasons for wanting to get away from this dreary old place.
And she's coming back here tonight.
If she does, he'll know. They'll never forget their hatred.
Is Miss Ruth's room ready?
Yes, sir.
Light a fire there. It's growing cold. Make her room as cheerful as possible.
Yes, sir. Oh, excuse me, sir. Look down the road and see if you see any signs of Miss Ruth.
Hans has just told me of that animal's hatred for Ruth. They should not be in the same house together.
She's perfectly safe. He can't possibly escape.
Why, with his tremendous strength, anything is possible. Did you not consider that, Robert, when you asked me to read the will in this house?
I was selfish, perhaps. I was thinking of my own condition. But I think she would have come to see her father anyway.
Storm is increasing. I'm afraid I shall have to impose on your hospitality and spend the night here.
Yes, of course. Mrs. Krug. Mrs. Krug. Mrs. Krug. Prepare a room for Mr. Wilkes.
The guest room is ready, sir.
No. I think Mr. Wilkes would be more comfortable in the other wing of the house, away from our family sorrow.
Oh, anywhere will do, Mrs. Krug.
Did you see anyone on the road, Hans?
Can't see a thing. There's someone coming now.
How do you know?
He always acts like that when there's somebody arriving that he knows.
Could it be Ruth?
I wonder. I wonder.
County Cruise! County Cruise! Uncle Robert! Oh, Uncle Robert! Uncle Robert!
Oh, if I were not so helpless. If my shrunken body could lift you up and comfort you. There, my child. Be brave, dear. Be brave.
If I could only have been here and talked with him. Just seen him once again.
Let me take his place in your heart, now that you're more than ever alone.
Oh, I loved him so much. I should never have gone away.
There is nothing to fear, dear. He is securely caged.
Oh, but he frightens me so. Oh, pardon me. Uncle Robert, my fiancé, Dr. Clayton.
Happy to know you, sir. You have my deepest sympathy with you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilkes. Oh, Ted, my father's attorney, Mr. Wilkes, Dr. Clayton.
Glad to know you. Happy to meet you, sir.
What's that?
That's Yogi.
What's the matter with that man? He must be in misery.
His master is dead.
Where? In there? Well, you told the bank, then I've got to fix on this generator and the spark plugs. Yeah.
Ted, will you wait?
Certainly, dear.
Make yourself comfortable, Doctor. There is little I can say in welcome at a time like this.
I understand, sir, and I extend you my deepest sympathy.
Thank you. You knew my brother? You were acquainted with his work?
Yes. I suppose that was an ape's cry that startled Ruth.
But there is no cause for alarm. I have him secured beyond possible means of escape. Mr. Wilkes inspected him.
Oh, yes, sir. He's in a cage. But he's such a powerful animal. I would not have wanted to be closer.
I'm afraid. I don't know what it is, but something terrifies me.
Nothing will harm you, dear. Auntie Krug will put you to bed in your own little room, just like when you were a little girl.
Oh, I can't seem to realize. It was all so sudden.
Yes, very sudden. Come along with Tante, dear.
Hello, Matt.
Hello, Miss Ruth. Glad to see you. The luggage, where shall I put it?
Put it in our old room. Your Uncle Robert arranged it that way. I'll fix your things for you.
Thank you, Tante.
going to tell them. Now that he is dead, it should be known.
Don't be a fool. We may be turned out.
But it is our right. Haven't we been still long enough?
No. Wait until the will is read. We may be rich.
Ted, don't go into the village tonight. Stay here.
But the reading of your father's will should be a family matter. I'd better go to the inn.
Please stay. I want you here tonight.
Dear, you're nervous.
Please.
All right, I'll stay. I'll get my things. They're in the car.
Are you leaving, Doctor?
No, Uncle. He's going to see about putting the car up. You'll be more comfortable here than at the inn.
Well, certainly, Doctor. We can consider you one of the family.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, Hans, will you show Dr. Clayton where to put his car? He's staying all night.
All right, Miss Rue.
Thank you, dear. I'll only be a minute.
Dante, will you prepare the guest room?
Yes, I will, dear.
Exodus! Exodus!
Yes, Dr. Clayton.
Get the bags out of the car. We're staying here for the night.
We is. Isn't that what them cops said? You know, Dr. Clayton, I think I'll go for a walk. Go to a movie, play some pee-wee golf.
Nonsense. You can't walk to the village in this storm. It's 11 miles.
That's just a pleasant walk. I'd just love to take off my shoes and play in the raindrops. I'd skip part of the way, too. Did you hear that?
Get the bags out of the car. Hans will take care of it.
Ah, wonderful, yes. Well, let's talk a little bit about our cast for a moment, shall we? We'll do two now, and then I'll do the others later. Mr. Rex Leese, who plays Dr. Ted Clayton, became famous for his portrayal as the villain in the 1928 film Law of the Range, which actually featured a young Joan Crawford as the heroine and Leese as the outlaw, known as the Solitaire Kid. He was made the successful transition into talkies and starred in melodramas and action flicks and of course old dark house pictures, such as today's film. But he is most famously known for westerns, specifically the western serial. The most infamous, or should I say famous, is the Custer's Last Stand serial, in which he plays the lead character, not Custer, but the main character, which actually is still to this day marked as one of the greatest cowboy serials of all time. Lillian! Why do you do this every time I put on a performance? It's hot. Not a good nonsense these days, let me tell you. Ow! Yes, of course. He later appeared in sci-fi pictures. Specifically, our sci-fi fans will recognize him as the mascot for the heavy metal band The Misfits. Are they heavy metal or are they punk? It's all garbage to me, really. But yes, he is the mascot for The Misfits in the role of the Crimson Ghost, the serial in which he actually played the physical menace, the actual caricature, although his alter ego is played by a completely different actor. But that's neither here nor there. Oh, pardon me. It's almost as if it's dusty in here. Well, Vera Reynolds, who plays Ruth Elton, appeared in multiple silent films, with The Monster Walks being one of the last of her filmography. Although it is noteworthy that Vera was accused of attempted suicide via poisoning. Although she denied it and the doctor confirmed it as simply food poisoning. As in gastrointestinal whoopsies. Apparently the controversy stems from an overzealous systems operator who misunderstood and misinterpreted the situation. It truly did affect her career, but it did leave a long-lasting mark, for certain. Bless you. Who did that? Doesn't matter. So, there you are. We'll get back to our film now, but when we return, I have a little surprise for you. And then we will continue on referring to the rest of the cast. So until then, c'est la vie.
Oh, Ted, did Hans take care of the car?
Yes, he's showing Exodus where he can sleep.
Shall I proceed with the reading of the will, Miss Ruth?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize the...
Oh, that's perfectly all right, Doctor. You may remain.
Thank you, but I prefer to go to my room.
Will you show Dr. Clayton to his room, Tonty?
The doctor will be more comfortable in the other wing with Mr. Wilkes.
But Miss Ruth said Dr. Clayton was to occupy the guest room.
Well, of course, Ruth, I was thinking only of the doctor's comfort.
Come, Doctor.
I'll come back when you're through.
Is it necessary for Mrs. Krug to be present?
Why, yes. She is mentioned in the will.
Come with me and I'll show you where you can sleep.
Where's the dead man at?
On the second floor.
Well, I'll sleep in the cellar then.
That's where Yogi is.
You mean that man at her house, so? Well, you give me an umbrella and I'll go up on the roof.
Come on.
In the name of God, I, Philip Elton, being of sound mind and memory and not acting under duress, menace, fraud, or undue influence of any person whatever, do make, publish, and declare this my last will and testament in the manner following. That is to say that I bequeath all monies to my credit at the Hudson National Bank in the amount of $50,000, together with all personal property in the safe deposit boxes of the Hudson National Bank, which consists of house and lot and furnishings, and personal effects pertaining to house and grounds, to my only daughter, Ruth Elton, and sole heir. In the event that my sole heir, Ruth, should meet with death in the meantime, then the above I bequeath to my only brother, Robert Elton. In loving memory, I hereby provide that he be sheltered and suitably provided for in our family home until his death. This home to be maintained until such time. To my faithful servant, Emma Krug, I hereby bequeath the sum of $50 monthly to be paid out of my estate. This sum to continue without recourse until her death. I hereby appoint William Wilkes as executor of my will to act without bond. Witness my hand this the 22nd day of April, 1925. Philip Elton.
I'm very grateful to your father, Miss Rose.
Philip was always thoughtful and just. I'm very happy. My wishes are realized in spending my remaining years here in peace and quiet.
Have they finished?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. It ain't fair. It ain't fair, not a penny. And we have been still for so long. And now we get scraps thrown at us by strangers.
It wasn't him. He was a good man.
Now she comes back. Now there's money to be had. And we who have stayed in word get nothing.
Wait. Someday.
I've waited long enough. I'm going to speak.
And if you do, I'll swear that you are mad. Now carry him upstairs.
Are you ready to go upstairs now?
Yes. It's been a trying day. I think I had better retire. You also, Ruth.
I'm coming with you, Uncle. Coming, Ted?
No, if you don't mind, I think I'll stay here and chat with Mr. Wilkes.
All right. Good night, Mr. Wilkes.
Good night, Miss Ruth.
That yoga man sure is mad about something. If he's gonna yodel all night, ain't nobody gonna sleep.
Hans, I will go through my brother's room. I have had my bed moved to the room next to his, so we could spend these last few hours together. Go to my room, dear.
Yes, Uncle.
If I only had a daughter now, to be always near me.
I shall always want to be near you, Uncle. You are so much like Daddy that it will keep his memory fresh and dear to me.
You are now a wealthy girl, Ruth, and you must make the most of it. Wealth to youth is golden, but to age it is a milestone.
I love you, dear. Good night.
Good night.
Hypocrite. Dull hypocrite. Why don't you tell her you hate her? Why don't you tell her you want the money more than she does? You're all liars.
A remarkable woman, Mrs. Krug. She's been here for nearly 20 years. Her devotion to the brothers was almost her religion.
And, Hans, is he her son?
Yes. He was a baby when he came here. I believe she comes of a very good family, but she gave up everything to come to America.
They're Germans, aren't they?
Yes, so are the Eltons. I think there's some sort of a distant relationship.
There's a large fortune involved, isn't there?
Considerable. Enough to almost burden a young woman like Ruth.
I believe she understood the provision of the will. The estate is hers unconditionally. Her father intimated as much.
Well, fortunately, there are no other direct heirs. You know, wills are always open to contest, Doctor.
Yes. And a large fortune
There's always a temptation, Mr. Wilkes.
Yes, Doctor.
Well, shall we retire?
Well, if you don't mind, I think I'll stay here and smoke a cigar.
Good night.
Good night, Doctor.
I have attended to your car and driver, sir. Thank you, Hans.
Good night, dear. Oh, Miss Ruth wishes to speak to you before you retire.
Thank you.
Good night, Dr. Clayton.
Good night, Mrs. Krug.
Come in, Ted.
Mrs. Krug said you wanted to see me. What is it?
Listen, Ted. I have a premonition that something's going to happen. Something horrible.
Nah, it's your nerves. What you need is some rest.
Oh, I know it seems foolish, but it's all about me, oppressing me. The house wasn't like this when Daddy was alive.
That's because you've grown unaccustomed to it. It's an old place, isn't it?
It's supposed to have belonged to smugglers a long time ago. There are tunnels and secret passageways all through the house. Daddy had them all sealed up, because when I was a kid, I was always getting lost in them.
That's swell. That's the first smile I've seen today. Now, it's time little girls like you should be in bed. And I could do with some sleep myself. You're going to have to take something for your nerves, young lady.
All right, Doctor. Should I take an apple a day?
Apples are strictly forbidden in your diet.
Good night, dear.
Good night, sweet.
Hans, lock and bolt every door and window.
Nobody's gonna steal their money. It's not here.
I wasn't thinking of their money.
Robert, what's the matter? I just heard Ruth scream. Ruth! Open the door, Ruth!
What was that? Someone come to me.
Ruth! Wilkes, what is it? What has happened?
Now be calm, Robert, be calm.
It was my niece. I heard her scream. What is it?
Oh, Dad! Dad!
Well, what happened, Ruth? What's the matter?
Oh, it was... Oh.
What is it? What's wrong?
Oh, Dad, take me away. Take me away.
Yes, dear. Now calm yourself and tell me just exactly what happened.
Oh, it was the ape Yogi. When I awakened, his arm was above me and he was clutching at my throat. Oh, it was horrible. Horrible.
Yes, dear. Mrs. Krug.
Oh, Dante.
There, dear. You're just nervous and excited.
Oh, Auntie Krug, I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
She is terrorized. She said that awful brute was in her room.
No. He couldn't possibly escape. Rouse Hand, send him to the cage and tell him to bring Ruth here to me.
Yes. Hans, has that animal been out of its cage?
No, sir. The lock hasn't been touched, and everything is the way I left it.
Well, that's a relief. Miss Ruth evidently had a nightmare.
Dr. Clayton? Oh, Dr. Clayton. I bet he's down there giving that yoga man a pill. Oh, Miss Yoga. Miss Yoga, please don't do it this time. Don't bite on this time, Miss Yoga. Cut me loose, Miss Yoga. I'll leave here. I ain't never coming back here no more.
What is all this nonsense?
What did you say, Yoga? Doggone, I thought that was Mr. Yoga had over me.
Go to your room.
Yeah, that's why I'm going and far away from here. That's all right. You needn't share me. I'm going in now.
He is securely fastened in his cage. I have just come from there.
Did you find anything, Doctor?
Nothing. I've carefully examined your room, dear, and there's no evidence of anyone having been there.
My little girl was having a nightmare. You're wrought up. Your nerves were playing you tricks.
But it was so real. I can't believe I was dreaming.
Dreams always seem real, dear. Now, what could possibly harm you in the room where you have slept since you were a child?
I'm an awful baby. I've disturbed and frightened you all.
You let your doctor give you something to soothe your nerves and have Mrs. Krug put you back to bed.
I'm awfully sorry.
Good night.
Well, I must confess, Robert, it gave me an awful jolt.
Ruth was always emotional, even as a child.
Oh, Ted, I can't. The impression was too vivid. I can't sleep in that room.
Then perhaps I'd better take you to the inn.
There, dear. Tante Krug will stay with you just like she used to do when you were a little girl.
Will you, Tante?
Of course I will.
Don't worry, dear. I'll be all right with Andy Krug.
You've had a very severe shock. I'll get something that will help you sleep. Drink this just before you go to bed, after it's dissolved.
Thanks, dear. Perhaps I won't need it.
I'll sit up for a while to make sure you're all right.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night, dear.
Ah, yes. Now, on to talk about the rest of the cast for tonight's picture. Mr. Sheldon Lewis, who plays Robert Elton, appeared in 93 films throughout his entire career, with most often of them cast as the role of the villain. This being the second to last film before he decided to retire entirely from the motion picture industry. So there's that for you. Misha Ara, who plays Hans Krug, he was active in cinema for years and years to come, with his last on-screen role being in 1967, which, if I do the math right, puts us at 35 years after this particular feature was made. Oh my stuff, could you imagine? Oh heavens. As for some of the more noteworthy films that he did, adventure fans will know him from King of the Wild, which had a special guest appearance by Boris Karloff, although it is technically just an early role, regardless. And then in Tarzan the Fearless, which is actually next week's motion picture. So I suggest you check that one out. Yes. He plays the role of the High Priest Tsar in the feature. In Destiny Rides Again, he plays the henpecked Russian Boris Callahan, and then had a minor role in Abbott and Costello's Hold That Ghost, with one of his last film roles being the Christmas that almost wasn't. Trying to combine words there. Strange. Anyway, Martha Maddox, who plays Miss Emma Krug, had a very fruitful career in her life. However, she sadly passed away the following year at the age of 53. Sidney Bracey, who plays Herbert Wilkes, has been touted as playing in 321 motion pictures at the time of his death in 1942. Although he did appear in another film with Misha Ara, the 1935 version of Anna Karenina, in which they both had very minor roles. Now, the final member of our cast is by far the most controversial, even more controversial than the suicide or food poisoning incident, yes. He is oddly credited as Sleepany, and that's sleep in apostrophe eat. He plays the role of Exodus in the motion picture, and he used that particular stage name right up until 1935, so for another 3 years he would use the moniker Sleep and Eat, before actually getting the ability to use his real name in the credits, his real name being William Best. And by far, sir, you are the best part of this motion picture. I amuse myself. But then again, I'm essentially trapped here, sir. I have to pass the time somehow. Now, of course, what is most noteworthy about Mr. Best, is the fact that he was an African-American comedian who was successful. Yes, now, and that sounds exceedingly racist, but think about the time period that we are in. Early 1930s, we just bopped out of the 1920s, and the Tuskegee Airmen would not exist for another 10 years. So, this is sort of a big deal, Mr. Sleep-and-Eat, Mr. William Best, Mr. the Gentleman. He is often criticized and reviled amongst African-American film historians because he played the stereotypical dim-witted, lazy, illiterate, etc. and so forth stereotype that was popular in the 1920s, 30s, and early parts of the 40s. However, he touts 124 films to his filmography, and he has received screen credit in 77 of them, which is very unusual for an African American in any sort of role. So, there you are. You want a ceiling breaker? There he is, glass and all. Ha ha ha. Now, of course, he unfortunately had a halt in his career whenever he was arrested on drug charges. Although he did make numerous appearances after that on the small screen television. Well, sir, props to you. Props to you. Well, that's all the time we have for this particular segment. I shall see you one last time before our motion picture is coming to a close. And I'll see you then. Mr. DeVille! Roll him.
Now compose yourself, Robert, and try to get some sleep. You may have another patient, Doctor.
You go to bed, Tonty. I'm going to sit up a while.
You should have rest, Ruth.
Oh, I couldn't go to sleep right now. I'm going to read a while.
Mr. Wilkes, just where were you when Ruth screamed?
Why, I was here, smoking my cigar. I must have dozed off. When I heard the scream, I rushed upstairs immediately.
And you stopped by Robert's room?
Why, yes. Her scream had awakened him also.
Hans was at the foot of the stairs, and he went to the cellar with you.
Yes. The ape was in his cage, and the chain was securely fastened. But I'm convinced that Ruth was dreaming.
Ruth tells me this is quite an old house.
Yes, it is.
It has a lot of secret passageways in it. You know anything about them?
No, but Hans might know.
Hans. I'd like to talk to him.
Well, his room is next to the kitchen. I'll go and get him. Hans! Hans!
Yes, sir?
Dr. Clayton wishes to speak to you.
You wanted to talk to me?
Yes, Hans. I want to ask you some questions. If Yogi should escape from his cage, Miss Ruth would be in great danger.
Well, you can't get out, sir. I locked the cage myself.
Mm-hmm. Are there any tunnels near his cage that he might crawl through?
Well, they've all been locked long ago.
Has Yogi ever escaped from his cage?
Well, sometimes when I used to lock him up for the night, he'd suddenly appear in the doctor's or Mr. Roberts' room. They'd only laugh and say you could pick the lock. That's why I put the chain on the door.
That's all, Hans. You may go.
Very well.
Are you sure that Yogi was locked in his cage?
I'm positive. He'd have to be released by human hands.
Yet Ruth is not the type of hysterical woman that's given to nightmares.
I think you're alarming yourself unnecessarily, Doctor.
I wonder. I still can't believe she was dreaming.
Strange boy, Hans. He often plays until late in the night.
You say Hans was in the cellar? Why hadn't he gone to bed?
Well, Hans's room is almost over Yogi's cage. He told me, before he heard the scream, that he heard some sort of slight shuffling noise coming from the cellar, and he went down there to investigate.
How long has Uncle Robert been an invalid?
Robert? Why, surely, Doctor, you can't suspect Robert. Why, Robert hasn't walked in over a year.
Nevertheless, I'm worried. I'd like to talk to Robert. Would you care to come along?
Why, certainly.
Tonty? Tonty Krug. Tonty! Oh.
He's sleeping. Perhaps we'd better not disturb him until the morning, Doctor. She's been strangled to death. Ruth. It was a shock. She'll be all right in a minute.
You were right, Doctor. There must be a secret entrance to this room.
Someone has made a second desperate attempt on Ruth's life. Mrs. Krug was not the intended victim.
Who could have done this?
Let's see. Robert was in his room.
Yes, we know where Hans was. Could there possibly be a secret passage to the ape's cage?
I don't think it was the ape. His animal instinct would have told him it was not Ruth.
Possibly. But what motive could anybody have for wanting to murder Ruth?
Robert is the only one who would profit by it.
Yes, and we know he was in his bed ourselves. Besides, he's a hopeless paralytic.
Dad! Dad!
You're all right now, dear. Tell me what happened.
She had gone to bed. I had fallen asleep reading. When I came back to bed, she was lying there with those horrible marks on her throat.
Well, didn't you hear anything?
I didn't hear or see anything. Oh, Dad, take me away. That's Uncle Robert's bell.
I'll go to him.
Wait. Don't tell him. The shock would kill him.
All right. I won't tell him a thing.
I thought I heard something. Has anything happened?
No. I was about to retire when I heard your bell. Is there anything I can do for you?
Nothing, thank you.
Well, you seem disturbed. Are you ill?
This has been a very severe ordeal for me, Doctor. Ruth!
Are you all right, Uncle Robert?
Yes, dear. Come in. Something disturbed me, and I rang for Mrs. Krug. The doctor answered.
Your uncle is exhausted. I'll get him a sedative.
No, thank you. Come here, Ruth. I thought I heard something, and I was a bit worried about your safety.
No, I'm all right, dear.
Doctor, did you learn anything?
Yes. Robert did not know of Mrs. Krug's death. I was taking his pulse when Ruth entered the room unexpectedly, and it stopped completely for several beats.
There can be no possible connection. Why, the man is a helpless paralytic.
I'm not so sure. I want to find that out for myself. Would you be so kind as to take Ruth downstairs?
Certainly.
Thank you.
It's late, dear. You'd better try and get some rest.
And you'd better go to bed, too, Ruth. I'll take care of your uncle.
All right, Ted. Good night.
Good night, dear.
Ruth has told me of your case. I'm very interested.
Medical science can't help me, Doctor.
Nevertheless, if you would permit me, I should like to make an examination.
Very well. See for yourself.
Mom.
You fool. You let the girl escape. You have failed again.
It was her bed. I was sure it was the girl. Instead, it was my mother I killed. Do you understand, my mother?
Emma? Dead?
You put the idea in my head because you wanted the money. You told me when the girl was out of the way, you would acknowledge me as your son. And we'd both be rich.
They'll hear you. Shut your vile mouth.
Why didn't you tell him I was your son? And now Mother is dead. And it's all your fault, you shrunken devil. Yours and the girl's. And I'm gonna kill you both.
Hands! Hands!
I was wrong, Mr. Wilkes. It's utterly impossible for Robert to ever walk again.
Why, Ted, what do you mean?
Ruth, you must realize that the attack made on Mrs. Krug was obviously meant for you.
But who would want to harm me?
There is only one possible solution. The ape.
Yogi. Oh, Ted, if he's loose, he will kill me. Oh.
Mr. Wilkes, will you see if Yogi's in his cage, please?
Why, yes, yes.
Oh, Ted, then it was Yogi's arm that I saw. I wasn't dreaming.
I'm not sure yet, dear.
Oh, Ted, take me away.
Here. Have you got a revolver in your car?
No, sir, I got it right here. So if you can mess around with me, I might blow a hole right through his fur overcoat.
Good. Come along with your revolver.
No, sir, not me.
Sure. Give me that gun.
Well, that's gonna be another big one.
The ape is securely fastened in his cage, and there's someone else in this house.
Ted, what are we going to do?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is get you out of here immediately. Exodus?
Yes.
Bring the car around front as quickly as possible.
It can't be too quick for me, boss.
Don't you worry, dear. Dr. Clayton! Dr. Clayton! Dr. Clayton. What is it, Hans?
Something terrible happened to Mr. Robert.
Ted, go to him. I'm all right with Hans. Go.
Come on, Wilkes.
Hans, what is it? Hans. Hans!
Is he dead, Doctor? No, he's still breathing. The same hand that murdered Mrs. Krug.
But I think we got a chance this time. I think he'll be able to talk.
Ruth. It's all right now. Tell us what happened.
Take Ruth away.
Ruth's safe? Who was it?
I am the guilty one. I forced him to do it.
Him? Who do you mean?
He is my son. Hans.
Hans! Ruth! Doctor! She's all right.
Excuse me, boss. What are they doing with one of them things around the house?
Well, Dr. Elton was an exponent of the Darwinian theory.
Huh?
He believed that they were our ancestors.
You mean that he's related to me?
Exactly.
Well, I don't know. I had a grandpappy that looked something like him, but he wasn't as active.
What are you doing way over there? No! No! No, drat. It was that little ghost girl, wasn't it? Come here, you. Come here. Come here, folks. Don't worry. I've got you. I've got you. I've got you. I've got something. Okay, all right, now. Okay. Oh, I can see myself. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. No, don't, no. Back. Up a little. Turn. Turn slightly. Turn. Next time I steal a camera off one of the good ghost hunters. Now. What does it look like if I sit down? Can I sit down? There, wait. No, that's not going to work at all. Okay, well, you know what? As a pilot episode, this is absolutely atrocious, and I hope you all enjoy it anyway. Because by thunder, I'm bored. Ow, oh well. Yeah, move. Bloody thing. Oh, wonderful. Now, that was our feature film, The Monster Walks. Many people will actually quote White Zombie as being the very first monster film or B-movie, and I say nay, mostly because this film, The Monster Walks, debuted 1 month prior to the film's White Zombie's release. And yes, White Zombie has zombies, but we had a gorilla! So, at the time, that was considered a monster! And if you don't believe me, King Kong comes out the next year, 1933. So, put that in your pipe and smoke it! Good, because I, you know what, never mind. I think I'm funny. Now, this is where you hold up your end of the bargain. I provided you with a good bit of quality entertainment, and now you have to let me know how we did in the comments section below the video, because I've got nothing else. It's just me, a little spectre, and she's disembodied. And Lillian! Give her an inch, she'll take a mile. As well as your right arm. Regardless. There is actually one other thing I need to discuss with you. I'm thinking of doing a little bit of rebranding. You see, Cinematary sounds so... It just doesn't roll off the tongue very well. Think about it. Say it out loud for a moment. Cinematary. Cinematary. Your tongue and your teeth are fighting each other right there. And it's just so... Not to mention, I hear Cinematary, and it's sort of this eerie Cinematary thing, and... The only thing that pops in my head is a rockabilly monkey. So, there. Points if you get that reference. No. I'm thinking, let's see, well, we could do... How would you rebrand this? I mean, it's only the pilot episode, and if we're gonna rebrand, now's the perfect time to do it. I haven't even started merchandising yet. Oh, let's think. We could do... Cinecrypt. Sounds like an art house, never mind. Cinemassacre! Ah, Cinemassacre! Sounds very... angry. So, never mind. What about... Movie Morgue. Movie Morgue has a nice ring to it. Albeit a little more reading involved. What to do. Ah, I have it. Just the perfect one. Are you ready? Here we are. Cinetomb. A place where bad films get a second chance to meet their doom. Having it right, Spider! No. I have no problem with spiders. Stop insinuating things. But, no, Cinetomb, a place where bad films get to meet their doom. That has a nice little ring to it, does it? You know what? You like it? You do? Well, folks, the monster likes it, and if the monster likes it, the monster gets what she wants. One of the reasons I'm missing a finger. But you have to now vote. Yes, vote, I say. Oh, actually, while we're on the subject of changing things up ever so slightly, one other thing. I said that Tarzan the Fearless would be next week's film. This is the pilot episode. What the devil am I talking about doing more? I need to know if you people even enjoy the content. So, like, share, subscribe, do the thing with the thing, and when you put it on one place and you stick it on another, and all that other stuff. Do those things, yes! And in a period of 1 calendar month, this pilot is airing July 9th. So, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August! In August 9th, we'll see what the final total score says. And if it meets a certain undisclosed quota, because let's face it, my standards are actually very low. If it meets those marks, we will begin filming the Cinetomb far more frequently. Yes, far more frequently. And if that happens, then the first episode we will show will be Tarzan the Fearless. As well as, just for the people who are still stuck on the previous moniker, we'll re-show the serial, the other serial. Maybe. We might wait. But that's the whole point. You need to let us know. So, there you are. This was actually very fun for me. I really enjoyed this. So, thank you for... I meant it when I said I genuinely didn't think you'd make it past the opening credits. So props to you. My hat goes off to you, fine people. Oh, I'm coming out at the seams in a few places. Oh my. Oh, Matt. You know what? Just because you made it to the end, hat stays off for you. Ladies, gentlemen, fangs and fiends, I bid you good night and pleasant screams. This is fun!
All right, everybody, we're going to have a little sing-along now. Are you ready? Let's go. I stuffed her in a basket. Last night she said, it's time we wed. And now she's in a casket. I didn't really care for the way she asked it. When I said no, her top did go. I think that she blew a gasket. It was very foolish of her, really, because she started to leak all over the place there. Oh, she banged me and she dragged me. Just like a woman, she perpetually kept a nagging at me there. Kept bugging me incessantly. To City Hall she dragged me. To tie the knot, she asked it. And so last night, I tied it tight. and she wound up in her casket. Oh, I should say not too expensive. Oh, you're getting closer. Yes, that's it. A nice cheap plywood casket. She lay there in her casket, and I couldn't bear to see her face, for I forgot to mask it. Oh, she looked like her mommy, and her dear mommy was a zombie. Her perfume had the subtle trace of a 10-day-old salami. Oh, how sweet it is. Are you ready, everybody? Sing along now. A nice cheap plywood casket. Now my price is very low because it, well, it thrills me so, that's all. So don't hesitate to ask it. Genuine simulated pearl handles, of course. And I'll cut a little porthole in there for you, my dear. Then we can play peek-boo-boo-boo-boo-boo with each other. Nothing but the high price spread for you, my dear.